Reality TV, if you've been watching the show, you know that I hate it. And I've got a little good news for you. It is starting to crumble. Yeah, that's right. According to LA Times, ratings for reality TV are totally in the toilet, and we've got a couple examples for you. Fox lost $50 million on Utopia. Did either one of you guys see Utopia by any chance? It was a disaster. It was on for about 3 weeks, about a bunch of people. They tried to create a futuristic civilization together. It was terrible. NBC's The Voice, which was pretty big for a couple seasons, saw its season finale drop nearly 10% this month. Duck Dynasty, that's a show with, it's a bunch of hicks that fuck ducks or something?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. The ratings have plunged. TLC canceled Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Now, apparently that wasn't totally because of ratings, but I guess Boo Boo's mom had sex with her brother or something.
No.
Something close to that.
A sex offender.
She was a sex offender. Yeah, close enough. And AMC largely abandoned a 3-year foray into unscripted programming. So I think these are all good signs because reality TV is just awful, and we've been bludgeoned to death with Kardashians and all this just awful housewife nonsense. As media guys, this has got to feel pretty good, right?
Well, one thing that I find interesting about the articles that talk about how the networks in general are losing their audience to cable, and the cable doesn't do reality as much as the networks do. But and it's true, of course, the networks are declining, and they don't have the market share that they had before. And American Idol is another one that is declining. Yeah. But they always talk about as if it's a zero-sum game between the cable viewers and network viewers, and then they might talk about Netflix and the new Amazon coming out with their own show programming. But nobody ever talks about YouTube, which I feel like that's where they're losing a lot of their viewership is to YouTube, like you people right now.
You good people. Yeah.
And there's not an acknowledgement of it. It's like there's only that's because they don't live in the world of young people who, I mean, it used to be when you're a teenager, for a lot of people, you come home from school, you throw it on your backpack, and you turn on TV and you watch TV. Now those kids go up to their room and turn on YouTube. And so where are they factored into this?
Right, so to that point, so let's just stick on that for a sec before we go back to reality TV. To that point, is this also just like a generational thing, sort of like we were talking about in the previous segment on the Middle East, that all the people that are in the business, that control the money, they did grow up throwing their backpack, watching TV after school, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the adults now controlling the money versus YouTube. Almost anyone under 40 at this point gets almost everything online. So
yeah, there's a big disconnect between the decision makers in programming and media and the people who are the consumers of that media. And I mean, I give them a little bit more credit because they don't say the word YouTube, but they do mention how they're losing audiences to the internet.
But I think they're more talking about like Netflix, and they don't acknowledge YouTube as, because like there are shows on YouTube and there are people who subscribe. I don't think they even understand that.
Right, I guess that's the moment, that's the thing that YouTube hasn't crossed yet. Like there isn't the breakout sort of Orange is the New Black or Transparent or something like that. So I guess that's what it probably would take.
YouTube is working on that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the issue of reality shows.
Yeah.
I think there's two basic types. So one is like it's a game show essentially, right? So like American Idol, even Survivor, those are kind of game shows.
They're contests.
Yeah, contests of some sort. And I think there's always a market for that because people want to see that, and that's actually reality. And of course, there's also some editing that goes into it to give it some flavor. So certain contestants are more likable than others. Yeah. So we get that, but that's going to be there. The other kind of reality program is just a pure voyeuristic type. So so we want to peek into the Real Housewives. We want to peek into Duck Dynasty, Honey Boo Boo, and a lot of it is just spectacle watching. You know, we want to see something that's fucked up and you know extreme from one to the other range of normal behavior, right? Yeah. That to me is going to die, and that mainly because the novelty is worn off, and it's not even reality. It's completely fake.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost more
scripted.
Yeah, it's essentially scripted, but it's just cheaper and with less likable characters, I think. And so I think that's going to be way scaled back.
So that actually might be something that YouTube actually hastened the death of, because once they put webcams in people's rooms, you could actually see reality. Yeah. So it sort of made the reality of because it's all scripted, even the unscripted nonsense. But I think you make a good point about sort of the game show aspect versus whatever, because to me, if you want to watch reality TV, I could turn on The Price is Right at any time, and it's always entertaining. I mean, I haven't watched it in God knows how long, but you could always turn it on for 5 minutes, and something sort of fun is happening, and you're seeing real people. And there's something actually, and it's not about that voyeuristic bullshit.
Right, and we all, I mean, look, we all love watching people win stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like at a halftime of a basketball game, if a guy makes a half-court shot and he wins $50,000, who doesn't love? The place goes nuts in the arena and on television. At halftime of bowl games, they have scholarships that people win from throwing footballs or catching footballs. So we love that stuff. We love it, and there's always a market for that.
Right. We love actual reality.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's my question: is that are people becoming more savvy? I don't like to give the American public any credit, as you can see from
not do that
an earlier segment about who we admire.
Yeah.
But I wonder if people are beginning to say, they see the ad for the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like, Kim and her mother getting into a big fight over who's gonna, and we know that is totally phony and made up, and they just completely manufactured for our benefit. And how many times can we watch Real Housewives rip out fake hair extensions? And getting these terrible fights. Like we've seen that before.
Literally, they went from ripping out hair extensions to ripping off a leg. Did you see that? There was an episode of one of them, Beverly Hills or something, where a woman actually ripped her prosthetic leg off and threw it at somebody. So that may have been the moment at all.
Serious?
That may have been the moment it jumped the shark without a leg. But wait, all right. So final thought on this.
My question is: potentially, we are just wising up that this isn't reality.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch scripted shows, there's much better scripted shows than Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Netflix or on Amazon or somewhere else.
Yeah.
And or on AMC but mostly not on the networks.
But not on the network. So that basically is my final point, that there is actually good TV now. So is that the other thing, that maybe through this horrible 10-year span that we went through with this, that television actually did make a comeback?
I think television is at its finest in its history. I think there are more good shows on television now than ever before. And it's shows mainly from HBO, but Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire. These are outstanding shows, and even shows like that I haven't watched, but Walking Dead is very popular. Breaking Bad, Mad Men. There's so many good shows on television that's available both on TV and also on Netflix and Hulu. You watch that. You don't watch this bullshit Honey Boo Boo nonsense, Yeah.
Steve is, by the way, a paid spokesman for AMC and HBO, everybody. So I'll let you know.
I wish. Pay me, please. I'll speak on your behalf.
But watch this. Malcolm's a paid spokesman for the Rubin Report, so tell them what they should do when they're done watching this.
They should subscribe down there and look at this, and then, like, and comment below.
That's right. There you go.